Everything you need to know in less than 5 minutes. Leona is one of the tankiest champions in League of Legends, and her abilities make Leona a perfect all-in engage support. She has the highest base armor in the entire game, allowing you to be in the center of fights and skirmishes and apply your crowd control with minimal repercussions for yourself. This playstyle is best reinforced by maxing your W first, so Leona can be as durable as possible. You max E second to decrease its cooldown while leaving Q at one skill point and leveling your ultimate whenever you can. The fact you should play Leona in the support position rather than as a top lane tank, for example, is further encouraged by your passive. Since you cannot proc Leona's passive bonus damage yourself, you are much better off in a duo lane than in a solo lane. Here you will always have a teammate nearby who can trigger this ability, so you get full value out of Leona's kit right away. Leona's Q is a very important spell as it is essentially a point-and-click stun and therefore highly reliable. Most crowd control abilities in League of Legends are skill shots, which means having access to a tool like this makes dealing with slippery hypercarries like Katarina or Master Yi way easier. You completely deny any of your opponent's outplay opportunities by simply getting Leona's Q off and then letting your teammates follow up for free. Keep in mind that this ability also resets your basic attack timer, which allows you to get 3 auto attacks off in rapid succession using Leona's auto Q auto combo. The number 3 is important here because this means Leona can clear wards instantly as they are placed before the ward can turn invisible. Leona's W is what makes your engages so extremely dangerous. The easiest and straightforward way to deal with an enemy jumping into your team is to simply kill them before they can cause too much chaos. Pressing your W, however, makes Leona almost impossible to kill without true damage because this spell combines flat damage reduction with percent damage reduction. The percent reduction, aka armor and magic resist, also scales with all the other sources of resistances you already have, further increasing the value of tank items and your keystone. Leona's E is what enables you to jump into the enemy team in the first place, and it is also typically the first link in your chain of crowd control. The spell is essentially a reverse hook, teleporting yourself on top of the enemy instead of the enemy on top of yourself. While this might sound like an inferior strategy at first glance, Leona's E actually comes with some key advantages. Firstly, playing a hooked champion like Blitzcrank instead comes with the risk of accidentally giving your opponent a free engage into your squishy backline. Additionally, hooks and similar engage tools can be blocked by minions, giving your opponents a lot of safety, especially during the lane phase. Both of these things cannot happen with Leona's E, as the enemy gets locked in place and your spell only locks onto champions. Most importantly though, Leona actually wants to be in the middle of the enemy team because them burning their most important damage spells on your W is pretty much the best case scenario for your allies. The most threatening weapon in your arsenal, however, is Leona's ultimate. Not only is it an AoE stun and therefore absolutely devastating in teamfights, but it also has a massive cast range of 1200 units. This means Leona's effective circle of influence is more than twice the size of an AD carry's average attack range. Consequentially, Leona's ultimate gives you a lot of agency and playmaking potential. Nonetheless, this ability is still a skill shot and therefore can be dodged by more mobile opponents. If you need a reliable engage, especially on a single target, your best approach is to first use E to get into Q range, then use Q for its unavoidable stun, and finally using that stun to connect your ultimate guaranteed. It is your job to press the like button and dive into teamfights head first, and this role is naturally embraced by your rune page. You go for Aftershock, Font of Life, Bone Plating and Unflinching with Biscuit Delivery and Cosmic Insight secondary. Your shards are Ability Haste and Double Armor. Aftershock is simply the perfect keystone for Leona as it optimally complements your W spell. In fact, the bonus resistances of Aftershock and Leona's W feed into each other, as both of these scale with the resistances you already have. This combo makes it effectively wasteful for your opponents to use spells on you for the duration, as they will barely leave a scratch. True damage, however, will still fully affect you, so keep an eye on enemy champions buying Kraken Slayer. Font of Life is triggered by pretty much everything in your kit and therefore nicely complements Leona's passive. Bone Plating and Unflinching make your engages more reliable, as they provide additional protection against burst damage and chain CC respectively. Biscuits and Cosmic Insight are the vanilla choices, boosting your lane phase and increasing your trinket and mythic item uptime. If you instead want even more playmaking potential and more flexible engage opportunities, you can also get Hex Flash instead of Cosmic Insight. For items, your core is always Mobility Boots and Locket of the Iron Solari. More movement speed equals to more effective engage range and faster roams during the lane phase, which makes Mobility Boots a must-have when playing Leona. When you have lane priority, leaving to gank mid lane or teaming up with your jungler for an invade is an insanely strong play due to your chain CC combo. Locket can be used to further protect yourself jumping in, but due to your crazy durability coming from your keystone and Leona's W, you better use it to protect your teammates instead. Supports typically don't get very far in their item builds before the game ends because they need to buy lots of control wards, but in longer games you simply go for the standard tank support items like Zeke's Convergence and Knight's Vow. Now, if you found that video helpful, you can access an entire playlist of educational content like this by clicking the link on your screen right there.